Now here's something I've wanted for a little while. If we can get it out of its package. Look at that. Wow, yeah, okay. It's actually kind of like smaller and heavier than I thought it would be. And this is the like first ever, just the original iPod. Yeah, it's very nice. It's got a ton of scratches on it. Apparently it's got a couple issues, but you know, it was cheap enough, so I took it. The wheel is very nice to spin. I like that. I like that it's spinny. I don't know why I was kind of expecting this thing to be larger, but you know, let's get this thing plugged in. Because to plug one of these in, you need firewire, and to connect the other side of the firewire and get this thing up and running, we've got what I hope still has battery left. It's totally still got battery left. That's great. Okay. It's still doing well. And now that that's booted up, we grab our iPod with the firewire, and we are just going to plug it straight into the firewire port on this one. Look at that, it spins right up, kind of. It at least turns on, knowing that it's connected to firewire, and it gives us the folder icon, which, you know, can mean a few things. Oh, and then it boot loops. Okay, hold on. Let's see if this thing will recognize. Oh, is it entering disk mode? Uh-oh. Well, there's a bad sign. I got the dead drive symbol, so this thing might be a little more dead than I originally thought. Let's just see, can we get this thing into disk mode? I don't know if disk mode existed on these ones. Yeah, it's giving us the same dead drive icon rebooting. We should probably set up iTunes on here first. Alright, is this thing gonna recognize an iPod? I'm still getting the dead drive thing. I don't think we can come back from that. Let's see. I bet the battery holds no charge in the slightest. Nope, it's gone. Well, anyways, I think this is the original 5GB iPod. I probably should have bought a storage upgrade before I got this thing so they would get here at around the same time. Well, let's try opening this thing up, see if we can find the insides without horribly scratching it. There we go. There we go. Now it's open. Alright, well, here's our battery. Let's fold the tape back. That took forever, but we got the battery out, kind of. There it goes. Alright, I don't know what happened to this thing, but there is, like, rust on it. There goes the hard drive, which I'm assuming is just the original one. Yeah, it's got the Apple logo on it. Oh, there's the iPod without its big heavy things inside of it. And this thing's been like water damaged at some point, which is really not the most ideal thing, but it doesn't look like any of the internals really got damaged. Well, believe it or not, I actually don't have another one of these really tiny hard drives, so I guess I will have to find one of those adapters that maybe work on this thing. I'll also probably get a new battery, just because, you know, why wouldn't I get a new battery? Well, I will see you then. There, now it looks like I know what I'm doing. Oh yeah, also ignore the everything around here. I didn't feel like cleaning it up all that much if it's not gonna have like the actual camera shot being the entire table. Anyways, we're back with the iPod. It's still sad, but I don't know if that one's gonna work. And this one should work. That's right, I actually ordered replacement parts for this thing from Elite Obsolete Electronics. They're pretty cool. I'll link them in the description if I remember it. And I know that this iPod might not like this, which is why I also have this one on standby just in case, because, you know, this one's supposed to be actually supported by the flash mod thing. So let's use the tool that came with the order and open this thing back up. Alright. Alright, there's our shell off. I've been shredding plastic every time I've opened this thing, and that's okay. Let's get our battery out. There's our SAD battery. Here's our SAD hard drive. You can tell because I marked it with SAD. Let's get that out. Alright, first we're just going to test if this thing wants to do anything with the flash mod. I'm not actually sure how to, like, put this thing in here. Oh yeah, I should probably also get, like, an SD card for the SD card adapter. Alright, random microcenter SD is going in. That's probably the right way. I don't know, does it go in the other way? It does not go in the other way, so I got it right the first time. Oh yeah. Alright, then that goes in like that. Okay, that should be how it's supposed to go. I'm not entirely sure. I should probably do some research real quick. Alright, I don't know. I'm just gonna have it like this. If something lights on fire, then I'll unplug it. And, I don't know, this iPod was already cheaper than most of the ones that were already on eBay, so it wouldn't be too much of a loss. I do kind of just want to plug it in without the battery though, just so I can monitor the drive on the back. So to plug it in, we've got the iBook G4 with a working battery. See, the battery works. Let's get our FireWire in. I actually don't know if this thing is going to successfully boot without a battery. Last time I took out the battery, it just sat on the Apple logo. Alright, in goes FireWire, don't light on fire. Well, there's our Apple logo. Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. This thing doesn't like when it doesn't have a battery. Just unplug that. Alright, as I was saying, yeah, as soon as this thing, like, powered on for a few minutes, yeah, the thing gave me an extremely low battery notification. So I guess the battery wasn't doing too well after all. Alright, well, let's plug in this battery. Oh, the battery came with some charge for free. That's nice of it. Alright, the iBook has no idea what's plugged into it right now. I don't know if that's really the best sign. If the iBook can't really, you know, pick up the iPod's identifiers and the iPod won't go past the Apple logo, and it also won't respond to me holding anything on the, you know, on the buttons, the 4 buttons and spinny wheel. Alright, just to sanity check myself real quick, we're gonna open this one too. Okay, I'm not insane. I put the adapter in here. Almost thought I killed the iPod because I forgot to plug in the back piece to turn it on, but there it is. We got the folder. Here goes FireWire. Alright, it's in disk mode now. Let's see what we got on iTunes. Or disk utility can just not have anything, I guess. Yeah, sorry, we actually didn't plug anything into FireWire. Well, that's probably why. I kind of forgot that this iPod doesn't really like FireWire and does not do disk mode over FireWire. So let's unplug that. And this, I don't actually have the camera on the iPod, but I'm plugging in the USB to 30 pin now. Alright, USB to 30 pin is in. Is iTunes gonna show anything? Oh, set up your iPod. Alright, so it shows the set up your iPod, which is a good sign, but that also means that this compact flash adapter totally, completely works, and that other iPod just doesn't want to see it, which is not good. Can I go into, where is it? Disk utility. Alright, iPod. What if we just erase this disk? Oh, okay, I guess not. Well, I mean, now that we know this thing works, I guess we can, like, before we set up the iPod, we can just eject it so that we know at the very least that it knows it's an iPod. It probably gave at least a little bit of the... Okay, it remounted itself. It probably gave at least a little bit of that iPod firmware to the SD card. Alright, new try. I may or may not have been putting in the adapter completely incorrectly. We'll have to see. Let's plug in the battery. Oh, we got a folder this time. Oh, hold on. Alright, we plug it in, it boots up. Folder. It's in disk mode. Hold on. Do not disconnect. Show up on iTunes, please. It's not showing up on iTunes. It's not showing up in disk utility. Why was it in disk mode if it's not gonna show up in disk utility? Show me the connected drives. Oh, or don't, I guess. That works too. Oh, there's a disc 1 now, and it's the size of the SD card. It's actually seeing it. Okay, I think I might have just actually been plugging in the adapter wrong. Alright, sweet. It can't mount the flash card because it's an unknown special file system. You know, everyone's favorite special unreadable file system, FAT32. Okay, hold on. I don't really care if you're in disk mode right now. We're going into diagnostic mode. Should apparently be these 3. Get a blank screen and then it goes into diagnostics, okay. Immediately runs a test, cool. Yep, firewire pass, okay. Hold select. It does the same test again, okay. Oh, I forgot the fast forward, just kind of like makes the little speaker in here buzz. Of course, I also just now see that the iPod has mounted, except it's, you know, still in diagnostic mode. I don't know what that's gonna do if I try and format the disk in diagnostic mode. I guess I can try resetting it and taking it to disk mode. Alright, it's in disk mode. It still shows as mounted. This one is not mounted though. Can I mount this? Well, that's not very good. Let me just check if it knows what FireWire device is connected to it. Okay, it also just doesn't know what FireWire device is connected to it anymore. Alright, I'll run first aid on the disk, sure. You know, I have a strange feeling that disk mode has totally messed with the way this thing was mounted. Okay, stop verifying. You clearly have no idea what you're doing. And also I need to connect a different iPod anyways, because none other than the 4th gen decided that its hard drive is actually not worthy anymore and has given me the folder icon even with a perfectly working hard drive. So let's just plug that USB to 30 pin back in, see what it feels like doing. Alright, it seems the issue is larger than I thought. It doesn't connect in disk mode. What it does is it says that it's about to go into disk mode, and then it restarts, which is, you know, pretty not ideal, actually. Well, I connected the iPod again, and now the iPod Updater app is showing. Alright, let's press restore. Yeah, restore it. Well, I can't say I wasn't expecting this because the iPod itself is actually like froze. So it looks like we are doing a full restart of, well, the iPod, and I guess I can force quit this. Well, it doesn't say it's mounted on the desktop, but I'm just gonna press restore and see what happens. Well, there it goes. Or there it starts, I guess. I don't know how long this is gonna take. Oh, guys, it's going. This is going to take forever, and the iPod's probably gonna freeze in the middle of this, but it's actually going. Just ever so slightly. Alright, that was actually a really good use of like 20 minutes. Thank you, iPod Updater. Alright, well, it's now day 2 of recording, actually trying to like put something on this iPod, and I have some pretty sad news. This one, the 4th gen, I don't know why, but at some point its hard drive cable itself has decided to just kind of die. Like, even putting this flash storage in it that was like working just fine, it doesn't even light up. Like, there's the little LED on it, it doesn't light up when it's in here, and it immediately restarts when it hits disk mode. So, you know, that's pretty unfortunate. But also, I did salvage its hard drive, put that in the iPod, and it recognized it. It shows up in the iBooks disk utility. But also now the iPod Updater hangs whenever it tries to restore the iPod, probably because of the newer firmware that's still on it. So we're just going to try a few different things, and I will get back to you on that. Alright, sweet. Okay, well, this one goes into disk mode, but I think the hard drive has also just now died. You know, because it's just repeatedly clicking. Usually it's not supposed to do that. Oh, or not. Even with the hard drive clicking like that, it's still showing up in disk utility. That's weird. Shouldn't do that if the hard drive's dead. And it shows up as an actual iPod drive, still with the firmware for the old one. Well, I'm calling it here. this is as far as I could possibly get the flash mod to go, which was after I used Linux to manually write the partitions and the firmware. But after I got to this point, no Mac would recognize it as like a working iPod. They would all say it's corrupted, or they wouldn't mount the iPod at all. This thing's got some weird issues, and I actually did just end up putting an original hard drive in it. That's what's in here right now. And it's got firmware 1.5 on it. It does have my songs on it. I couldn't get the songs onto the flash modded version just because of that corrupted thing. I couldn't, access the whole song database. I mean, most of it seems to be working all right. There's still some, rust here, chip off the headphone jack there. And also the center button thinks that it's constantly pressed, so if I press it just a bit without actually pressing it down, sometimes it'll go forward like 5 menus. Sometimes when I lock it, it'll act like it pressed the button. It hasn't done that recently since the last time I opened it and closed it, but yep, that's about it for the flash modded iPod. In the time that it took me to kind of, realize that I might just be going crazy, I did actually get this, and this, and this, and this, and that one's still waiting for a flash mod of its own. This one currently has the flash mod that was in the iPod, and it works just fine. It is just incredible. And I really like the 3rd gen, that one's pretty neat. So that's it for our wonderful iPod adventure. It's gotten cut very short because I didn't record a lot of the process of me kind of spiraling into insanity trying to get this thing to be recognized by like 6 different Macs and my main computer, because nothing wanted to restore this thing even if it has a physical hard drive in it. But yeah, in the like 15 or so times I've tried to restore this thing, a couple of those times, or a lot of those times actually, were attempts at restoring it back to firmware 1.0, which is where I've kind of made a theory, a hypothesis, if you will, that this iPod, being manufactured in 2002, cannot run firmware 1.0. Nothing at all was able to give this thing firmware 1.0, or anything lower than like 1.5 or 1.3. So it's either this iPod being really strange, which, it's kind of expected, or it's just, there's a manufactured date thing going on that prevents iPods manufactured after 2001 to run an earlier firmware version. And I can tell what year it was manufactured in, because if you go to the settings, the serial number, that 3rd character there, the 3rd character tells you when the iPod was manufactured. The 2 is for 2002. So when you see an iPod that says like U22 as the serial number, that means that it was manufactured in 2002. And the U2 part, I think, is just where it was assembled or manufactured. But it's not really, surprisingly, it's actually not on like a lot of eBay listings. There's not a lot of listings that say, oh, this iPod was manufactured in 2001, it's an original. But, I don't have any other iPods to really test this theory, so if anyone else has a 1st gen iPod Classic that has a U21 or U22, or I think there are some that have 3 as the 3rd character in the serial number. If anyone else wants to test, downgrading those to firmware 1.0. The only footage I've ever seen of a downgraded iPod was one that had the U21 serial number, which is kind of a pretty big thing that I've based this theory off of. But yeah, I've had a really fun time. This thing is stupid. I don't like messing with this thing. It's such a pain. This one is kind of the same deal. I flash modded it. It only let me restore the firmware through the same Ubuntu method that I used for the 1st gen Classic. So in spirit, it's still got the 1st gen Classic in it. I don't know how good of an idea it is to have this 6th gen Classic on there, because like, it's still got its original hard drive. Maybe I shouldn't have it directly over the magnet. So yeah, that's the end of the video. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. I might see if I can just find another first-gen classic that actually has a 2001 manufacture date to kind of test my theory out. This one works fine too, and my exposure really sucks at capturing the screen apparently. The screen is so clear that it's having trouble recording it. This is probably like one of the only iPod videos I'll make on this channel. So I will see you in the next non-iPod video. Unless I make a short about the Ubuntu method or something. I don't know. Like, comment if you want to see a short about the Ubuntu method. I could only get to it through like an internet archive link. Internet archive, even.